In this lesson, we will be modeling the cell that we are going to use in our final image. But before we start, I want to go over some reference materials, just so we can understand the anatomy of a cell. So I went ahead and Googled the word cell. And as you can see, we do have a variety of shapes and colors. But when you start looking at these images, you're going to start noticing that all of them, they do have a couple of things in common. So if you check out this image, you're going to see that a couple of main elements stand out, which is the outer shell, which is called the cell membrane, and the interior one, which is the nucleus. For this lesson, I will be modeling the outer shell, the cell membrane, and the nucleus. Feel free to model the small elements as well that sit into the cell membrane, but I'm going to be using procedural texturing to add these as a nice effect on top of the nucleus and the cell membrane. On top of that, we will be modeling what is called the pili. And to see a better example of the pili, I'm going to check out this image below here. And the pili are these hairy tentacles that sit on the cell membrane. And we are going to create this using V-Ray Fur. So let's head over into Maya. I'm going to start with modeling the nucleus, and for that I'm going to use a NURBS primitive. I'm going to start with a simple sphere. I'm using NURBS primitive because it's far much easier to get an organical looking shape rather than using polygons. But feel free to use polygons. This won't affect in any way the result of the final image. It's just a matter of preference. So as I said, I'm going to start with a simple sphere. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of simple modifications to this one, so we don't have this perfect sphere, because nothing in nature is this perfect. So to do that, I'm going to just go right ahead and right click, select hull. I'm going to go and select the top edges of the hull. Just let me get the top one. I'm going to go ahead and okay, we got this side one as well. Select the top ones. I'm gonna go ahead and scale these down, maybe move them up a bit. Okay, select this, move that down, scale down that a bit, rotate it. I'm going for a seed plum looking nucleus, but feel free to create whatever shape you think looks good or fits your project, because as you can see from the reference materials, we do have a very big variety of shapes and colors. We do have square ones, cylinder, pill looking ones, square, as I said. So feel free to create the shape that fits your project. I'm gonna check out this nucleus from multiple angles just to make sure it looks good from all sides. I'm going to do just a couple of small tweaks. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and create the outer cell, which is the outer shell, which is the cell membrane. For that, I'm going to be using a sphere, a NURBS primitive as well. So we're going to go NURBS primitive sphere. Just press 4 if you want to see it. Now I'm just going to scale this out so we have the nucleus sitting inside of it. Again, I'm going to go back to the reference materials. You're going to see that the nucleus sits inside the cell membrane. Again, for this one, I'm going to do a couple of small tweaks just so I don't get this perfect looking sphere. For this one, I'm not going to add that many changes because I do want this to look more spherical than the nucleus, just so we can have a nice contrast between the two shapes. So once you're happy with the shell, with the shape of this one, we can go ahead and start shading this. So in the next lesson, we'll start creating the shader for the cell nucleus using procedural texturing and V-Ray shaders.